Welcome to the Empowering Women in Menopause podcast with your girl, Trudy German. I'm an online personal trainer, a wellness coach for women going through perimenopause. Over here, we talk about all things perimenopausal. So perimenopause, menopause, post-menopause, and how to thrive through this transition. We speak candidly about what you're going through, what this change means, what it really consists of, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. And, we talk about how this change can affect you mentally, emotionally, physically, and professionally. So before further ado, let's get into this week's episode. Hello! I don't know if I'm nervous, if I'm excited, but this has been something that I've wanted to do for a while and I kept procrastinating. I've even prayed on it and God, the Holy Spirit has told me multiple times to do this, but I kept procrastinating. And I even had a conversation with someone and she was like, girl, you have the tools, you have the equipment, you know what you want to do, just go ahead. So here I am. This podcast is important to me and I wanted to put this podcast out there because as an online personal trainer, wellness coach, fitness personality, I cater to perimenopausal women. I myself, I'm a perimenopausal woman and I'm 44, knocking on 45's door. And I remember when my body started to change, I didn't understand what was going on. And I had my online clients complaining about similar issues. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I started digging deeper and deeper. And I realized, oh crap, we're perimenopausal. To be honest, I didn't even know about perimenopausal. And I know that sounds so ignorant now saying it, especially with the knowledge I've acquired. But I also started thinking, if fitness and understanding the body and those things is my job, and I'm lost with this, how does the average woman feels? How does the woman that this is not her scope to understand the body, to know the body, how does she feel? And then I started thinking and I was like, okay, girl, I'm a believer of if there's a problem, instead of sitting and complaining about it, you either fix it or be quiet. And I got tired of being quiet. So here I am with this podcast to help you. So yes, let's jump into this. Before we go any further, let me preface this by saying I am not a doctor. I am not an MD. I am not a naturopath, and I do not and will not pretend to be one. I am a perimenopausal woman. I am a wellness coach. I am a fitness personal trainer. I am someone who also is going through this and helping a lot of my clients go through this. So the information I am sharing, please make sure you also see your doctor because I am not a medical or a naturopathic doctor. So first thing, let us describe exactly what menopause is. I'm realizing menopause is one of those words that gets thrown out, but we don't really know or understand the meaning. So before we go any further, let's go there. Menopause, put simply, is a moment. Menopause does not, and I repeat, menopause does not go on for years. Menopause is simply a moment. So you don't even know when you're in menopause, to be honest, because menopause is once you've gone 12 consecutive months without a period, then boom, that is menopause. It is that moment. Then everything after that is post-menopause. So please think about that. When women come to me and they're like, I think I'm going through menopause, or menopause is heck, you are not going through menopause. You are perimenopausal or post-menopausal. So remember, menopause is simply a moment. If you have not had a period in 14 consecutive months, you are now post menopausal. If you have not had a period in 4 years, you are post-menopausal. So everything else that is happening prior to those 12 months of 12 consecutive months of no period, you are perimenopausal. Now, this is the average age. It doesn't mean it's specific to you. So the average age is for menopause is about 51. Some women can be in their 60s and just hit menopause. Some women can be in their late 30s or 40s. I'm going to touch a bit more into that. So remember, menopause, once you've gone 12 consecutive months without a period. Everything leading up to that is perimenopausal. So if you're experiencing mood swings, insomnia, hot flashes or hot flushes, if you are experiencing night sweats, if you are experiencing irregular periods, if your boobs feel more tender, if you just find your body is changing. One of the biggest ones that women come to me with, where that's usually their reason for coming to me, is they are gaining fat, especially around the midsections. All of those things, you are perimenopausal. And the thing is, it can last anywhere from 8 to 15 years. I'm not saying that it will happen for 8 years for you. It will happen for 15 years for you. That's usually the average. It can be more, it can be less. All right, so keep those things in mind. Now, here's something else that I want you to think about. So these perimenopausal symptoms may happen before that moment of menopause, right? But they don't stop. They don't necessarily stop as soon as you hit menopause. I'm laughing because I'm like, there's so many things no one prepared us for. It's like, it's our bodies. We don't know our bodies. We don't understand our bodies, and no one prepared us for these things. So, you start going through the changes and you also feel like you're losing your mind because you're like, what is this? Why do I feel like this? You feel like you're crazy. You probably also don't want to talk to anyone because you feel as if you're going through this alone. Meanwhile, you're not. So now in terms of menopause, there are different types of menopause. Yes, you heard me correctly. So there's the natural and there is the medical or induced ones. One isn't better or one isn't worse than the other. They are simply different. So natural menopause basically means that there's a certain age that you're expected to have either start or end this process. So basically, by a certain age, you should be done having periods. For example, by your 70s, it's kind of more that you should be done having periods. And medical or induced mean that your period may stop after a medical procedure. For example, some women who may have gone through chemotherapy or removal of their ovaries or removal of their ovaries may have, led up to them being in menopause, for example, in their 30s or in their 40s, because you're still kind of expected to naturally have a period at that time. So, something to note, hysterectomy not lead to menopause because that's removal of the uterus, but not of the ovaries, right? Now, touching on something I mentioned earlier, not because you hit that moment of menopause where boom, you've gone 12 consecutive months and there's no period, it doesn't mean all the symptoms magically go away and you can have a party. You can have a party for not ever going to have a period as yet, but do not throw a party for all the symptoms to go away as yet, because these symptoms can continue years after your period has ended. So sometimes they may stick around for another 4 or 5 years. It depends on when you went through menopause, perimenopause, and how long it lasts. But these symptoms can definitely remain. A few things that I want you to also keep in mind and remember where perimenopause and menopause is concerned. There are over 80 different perimenopausal symptoms. You may experience some of them, and in another podcast episode, I'm definitely going to be diving deeper into those. I know a lot of us know about hot flashes, night sweats, but those are not the only ones. There are over 80 of them. Now, some of you may be wondering, okay, should I go to my doctor and get my hormone tested? Or you may be experiencing a lot of symptoms and your doctors have tested your hormones, but they're like, everything is okay. And you're like, what's going on? And they're telling you you're fine. It's all in your head. Your hormone tests can still show that your hormone levels are normal, but you're also in perimenopause. That is because your hormone levels are changing so fast that sometimes it is very hard for the test to pick them up. This is why paying attention to your body is very important. What you also want to do is please do not diagnose yourself. Do not use Dr. Google to diagnose yourself. Even though the blood work with your doctor may show that your hormone levels are okay, but you may be in perimenopause, it is still important that you still go to your doctor and get it tested. Similarly, not because you've missed your period for like 1 to 3 consecutive months doesn't necessarily mean that you're also in perimenopause. I mean, you could be pregnant, but if you have ruled that out, you still definitely want to make sure that you go and see your doctor, because it's important to see your doctor to rule out other health issues like thyroid issues, any other autoimmune issues, PCOS. You just want to rule other things out, and the blood work will definitely help with. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and as I've mentioned before, my goal is to empower women in menopause. And by you sharing this episode with other women, like share it on your stories, then you will definitely be helping me help other women. So go ahead and share it on your stories, and please, when you share it, don't forget to tag me at Train with Trudy. Until the next episode, have a fabulous one.